Everyone, and welcome to our Pulse Roadmap recording. Last one of October. The year is just whooshing by. This is where we go through the roadmap so you don't have to try to wade through it. And for this week, waiting would have been the key word because there is a ton of items in development. We're not
More
going
like
through all
treading
of them.
water. More
Well,
like treading water.
yeah, I mean, you could sink in that. There were like over
Mm-hmm.
250, 300 that were all in development. And most of them are having something to do with Purview. So if you're really into Purview, I would advise taking a look at the roadmap because there's going to be a lot of things for you. We're just going to hit some highlights. Otherwise, we'd be on here for the next 4 hours. And with that, brief description of where we go. We have in development, which means they're working on the things back in Redmond or wherever these things are being coded. We then move into rolling out, which is when it starts to roll out to the various tenants to which it is actually destined to end up in. Then you have launched, which means if it was targeted for that tenant and you have that tenant, you should have it in your environment. And then sometimes there are cancellations. And in this case, there are a few that we'll cover real quickly. I'm going to go ahead and let my dear wife start, and she's going to cover some items, and then I will pick up a few after that. So go with that, Tamara.
Fabulous. So, Microsoft Teams, the ability for all participants to start collaborative annotations. What this means is all participants in meetings are now able to start collaborative annotations. So, this will only be available in the new Microsoft Teams experience, and that's coming out in December. Then we also have Purview. And then we have Microsoft Teams chat for organizers and presenters in webinars. So this will be a little bit more like live events used to be. Organizers, co-organizers, and presenters can chat privately in a separate chat from attendees. This chat is available to access before, during, and after the event. Then Outlook, we can replace quick compose pop-up with the inline appointment creation in new hashtag Outlook for Windows and web. So following further review, this feature continues in development. Microsoft apologizes for any inconvenience, but it is now due out in October. When single clicking on an empty time slot on the calendar surface, the Quick Compose pop-up will no longer be shown. Instead, you'll be able to create an appointment by typing directly into the time slot on the calendar grid, just as you can in classic Outlook for Windows. There will be no change to the double-click behavior. The full compose form will still open as it does today. So we're getting more and more feature parity between Outlook new,
Classic.
Outlook for Windows, and classic. Then we also have Outlook sort by the flag option. If you're not using flags in your Outlook, you're really missing out on something. So Microsoft is adding for support, sort by flag status, flag due date, and flag start date.
Cool. And everybody's getting that one.
Everybody's getting that one. And then Outlook insert signature into calendar events. Users can manually insert their signature into the calendar event like they can in classic Outlook. Again, more feature parity. And then Microsoft Teams shared tab in channel. The Files tab in Channels is now shared. So in addition to the files that are currently shown from the document library, the new experience will also show all the files and links shared in the channel conversations. This makes it easier to find content all in one place. I think this is a fabulous step up from Microsoft. Let's see what else. There is so much in here.
Scrolling.
A
Yes, the girl is
migration
scrolling.
tool for Teams Customers will now be able to move content seamlessly from public and private channels in a third-party solution to Teams standard channels. A new first-party migration tool on Microsoft Admin Center will allow admins to connect the third-party software solution, workspace, plan, and perform content migration to Teams. And then in Outlook, we've got import emails from a PST file to a mailbox in new Outlook for Windows. So for those of you who are like, you will prime my PST files from my cold dead hands, good news, you don't have to prime from your cold dead hands. And now we can also create and save email templates in the new Outlook for Windows. Last one I'm going to do is SharePoint document libraries, a new forms experience for streamlined document collection. So introducing native forms within SharePoint document libraries to streamline document collection. Users can create custom forms directly in the library for seamless file uploads and metadata submission. Forms can be shared as links within the organization, facilitating document collection without additional access. The integration enhances productivity by simplifying workflows and improving the user experience. Now, that is coming out in November, and that is coming out to everybody. That's coming out to Standard, GCC, GCC High, and DoD. Tom, there were just so many in development. I simply could not get through the entire in development list. What did you find of interest?
Well, I've got my finger, doing all the work here, and it's up to the task, I hope, to scroll through everything. First one I'll go ahead and touch on, which I find interesting because I think this has been on the roadmap now for about 9 months, and I keep looking for it. It never shows up until now when it shows up with a later date. And that is Microsoft Teams network strength icon to understand strength of your network. So this helps you quickly understand the strength of your network, along with suggestions how to conserve bandwidth if you are experiencing networking issues. Like I say, I've seen this going back at least 6 months, maybe more, where you're talking, you see a little network bar indicator at the lower part of your picture. And I think that is so great. So you can go, oh, I'm not getting really good network connectivity, instead of having to guess what's going on. That is due out in November. Will be coming out to Standard and GCC. And then Tom starts scrolling. Scrolling. You did the shared one. In July of 2026, so don't hold your breath, but it is coming. SharePoint Microsoft 365 Archive file level archiving. So instead of just being able to archive the entire site in SharePoint, you're now going to be able to archive down at the file level, which is really cool because some people are like, well, I need my site, but I really don't need all these other documents, but we do need to retain them. You're going to be able to archive now at the file level. So that will be a great addition when it finally works its way out. Copilot for Outlook. Copilot suggests how you should RSVP to meeting requests. This is kind of interesting, maybe a little scary too. Copilot suggests how users should RSVP to meeting requests based on meeting importance, availability, and working hours. With help from Copilot, users can streamline meeting request triaging, increase the number of triage meetings, and reduce the time required for triaging. So there's a lot of triage love going on in there. That's coming out in October and coming out to Standard. It'll be interesting to see what it tells you to do or not do. I will second the fact this whole document library and forms experience, I think, is really a cool idea, because half the time they put a file out there and you're like, well, but you didn't put the metadata. Now you can actually put a form out there saying, hey, attach a file, put the metadata on the form, and the whole thing gets put out there in a document library. I think that is great. What else do we have here? I love this one. Microsoft 365, the next generation of file and folder sharing. So they're introducing the third generation of Microsoft 365 sharing experiences designed to make collaboration simpler, smarter, and more secure by default. At the heart of this update is the new Hero Link, a single powerful link that controls access to your files. Whether you copy a link, share via email, or send the URL from your browser, you will now have a seamless and consistent way to share and stay in control of your files. They don't go into a whole lot of detail, and the release date is April of 2026, but it's going to affect all the clients along with Excel, OneDrive, PowerPoint, SharePoint, and Word. So that's going to be a big thing. Keep your ears open for that one because I'm sure they will send us a whole lot more information over time. Another one that I'm really looking forward to because we have to deal with this quite frequently, and that is OneDrive, transfer ownership of departing employee files with ease. Because person leaves and the manager gets this and they're looking at all this data in the person's OneDrive, not having a clue as to what's important and what's not. So what this is going to help with is we've made it easier to manage files when employees leave. Account cleanup emails are now more prominent. New filters help managers quickly locate key files, and the enhanced Move and Keep Sharing feature supports bulk file transfers with consolidated notifications, making the process more efficient. Security and compliance and ownership transfer ensures sensitive data remains protected, access is properly reassigned, and regulatory obligations are met during employee offboarding. So basically, the key in here to me is if I take over somebody's files because they left, when I pull that over using the Move and Keep Sharing, it basically still keeps the sharing links for everybody and sends an email out to those people saying, hey, the location of this file's moved. You can still access it, but here's the new URL. And that's huge. That is just a major deal when it comes to file sharing from somebody's OneDrive.
Oh, it makes such a huge difference.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great change. Tom's finger is starting to cramp because Tom is still scrolling down. He's up to line 350 on the spreadsheet. I don't have any more highlighted. Imagine that.
Wow.
So let's go ahead and move into rolling out. Tamara, you
Holy
want to take a
cow.
couple of yours?
All right. Microsoft Edge built-in PDF reader powered by Adobe Engine. So the Microsoft Edge will launch the new version of the built-in PDF reader that's powered by Adobe's PDF rendering engine. The new PDF reader ensures there's no loss of functionality and delivers an enhanced PDF experience. Now, this experience includes richer rendering, improved performance, strong security for PDF handling, and greater accessibility. Then also in Microsoft Teams, new workflows app experience in Teams and SharePoint. So the new workflows app is to provide an experience that is both simpler and faster to enable everyday Teams and SharePoint users to create automations in 3 steps or less. This reminds me of the old built-in workflows
Mm-hmm.
that we had in SharePoint. And then Microsoft Teams chats notes. A new collaborative space is now available directly from your Teams chat, enabling real-time collaboration and organization of key information and streamlined communications. So chat notes is available in one-on-one and group chat and is accessible only to the chat members. Add images, format text, share loop components, and mention chat members when you require their attention. And then the one I'm excited about, which is SharePoint e-signature free text field support. So SharePoint e-signature users will now be able to add a custom free text field to their request documents. This new e-signature field can be used to request information like address, full name from the people who are going to sign the document. What do you have in development, Tom?
So in Outlook, and this will be, of course, the new Outlook for Windows,
Yeah.
calendar support for copying, cutting, and pasting events and appointments. So now you're going to be able to copy, cut, and paste meetings and appointments on your calendar in the new Outlook using the good old Control C, Control X, and Control V shortcuts. So
Woo!
that's going to make it a lot easier to duplicate meetings or just move them to different locations. So that's cool. You took a couple of my other ones. I'll have one other one that I'm going to share, and that is Microsoft Teams forwarded message links. And I love this one. When
Mm-hmm.
someone forwards a message in Teams, you'll now be able to click a link that takes you straight to the original chat or channel where it came from. Note the link only works if the recipient has access to that original conversation. But what is so cool about that is you may get part of a message that, or a message in a chat that's got hundreds of entries. And you're like, okay, this is interesting, but what's the context? Well, instead of trying to go find where it came from and all that kind of stuff, you can basically click a hyperlink that's included in the forward, and it will take you right to where that was forwarded from, and you have all the context, which I think
Huh.
is just awesome. So
Yeah.
looking forward to that one coming out in October, coming out to standard client. Yeah, look for that one and use that one if you can. So we go into now the launch. There's only 4 items. Is there any you want to talk about?
Nope.
Nope. I'll just mention one here. Usage reports, Microsoft 365 Copilot, usage intensity to give organizational administrators and adoption managers better visibility into usage intensity of Microsoft Copilot. The Copilot usage report will be updated to include the tenant-wide count of prompts submitted in total and per usage average. The report will include a count of prompts submitted and the average usage days per user for the selected time period, and it is anonymized. This is really interesting and good in the fact that a lot of organizations are, in effect, saying, hey, we want you to use our AI tools X number of times every week, every month, whatever. And you can get that information, but you kind of have to work with it and roll your own. This is going to enable you to start getting an overall view of how people are using it, which is good when it comes to the fact that you're spending a considerable amount of money for that license.
Yeah.
So when you find out that, okay, we've spent all this money and people are using it once every, 30 days, you got a problem. So
Yeah.
this is going to enable you to get overall information and then start to drill down from that standpoint to make sure that you're actually getting the value out of your Copilot usage. That's really all we had in launch. There are 4 canceled items that I'll go ahead and cover real quickly. First one is Microsoft Intune, the Intune Suite Microsoft Tunnel Gateway Scaling. This was supposed to uh, increase the number of clients supported per tunnel from 5,000 to 20,000 per server. It's been canceled, no longer planned. They don't even apologize. You're not getting
Nope. No
it.
soup
Nope,
for you.
just nope. Then we have Microsoft Copilot pinned chats, which would have been cool. He would have been. The roadmap item is no longer accurate. They'll publish an update in the future. So you're going to get pinned chats at some point, just not under this particular item because it apparently is not realistic anymore for what they wrote. Then we have Microsoft Teams real-time notifications, live activities for Teams meetings on an iOS lock screen. So we're pretty narrow in what this one's about. What they're talking about now is that they're not going to release the feature at this time. They apologize for any inconvenience this might cause. And then they go on to talk about what the lock screen and live activities in iOS means, but you're not getting it yet at this time. And then the final one is Microsoft Viva Copilot Analytics, Microsoft 365 Copilot Agents Reports. All that to say, we'll not be proceeding with this feature at this time, and we'll provide a new roadmap ID when available. Yeah, and we're not going to apologize for it either. You're just not going to get it. So that was a brief summary of a spreadsheet that
A
had
huge,
385 items. It went
a
on
huge change
forever.
roadmap.
Yeah. At first, we're like, did we make a mistake? Did it not work? But when we went through and saw like every other line seemed to be purview, I think they're doing some major changes, probably for like an upcoming conference that they're having,
Mm-hmm.
which is what they quite often do when a conference is coming up and they decide, hey, here's all the things we're going to announce at said conference for Purview, Viva, Copilot, whatever it is. I think this is just Purview's time. So check out the roadmap. If you have a focus on purview. Again, if we had tried to cover all that, one, we're not purview experts, and two, we'd have still been talking probably about 5 or 6 o'clock this afternoon. So
Yep.
with that, thank you everyone for joining us. Anything you want to leave with our viewership there, Tamara?
Happy Halloween
Ooh, yeah, we had a
if
Halloween
you
party
celebrate it.
this week. Yeah, we had a Halloween party this weekend with about 50 or so people who showed up all in costume, and it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it a lot. Had it catered and the whole bit, and sent food home with everybody if they wanted it. So with that, everyone, have a great rest of your week, and we will see you again next Monday. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.